Hey guys, real quick before we get started, one of my longtime viewers, John Emerson, is he's having a really serious surgery on Saturday. He asked me to ask the audience to put some good prayers in for him, and so why does everybody throw some good energy and prayers for John Emerson? Good dude, man, and really afraid of this surgery he's going in for Saturday. Throw him some good energy. All right, Jesse on Fire, welcome back. So, as stated in the title, I may have found a connection between the LDS church shooting and the Charlie Kirk situation. And it's a really crazy one having to do with the guy who perpetrated the LDS church burning / mass shooting. Okay. But before we get into that, I wanted to show you something else that I found. Someone sent to me, a buddy of mine. And this is just like, again, we're on simulation theory here now at this point, right? So like, this is all the snake eyes stuff. We went through this, right? We've looked at this before. But just to recap, the connections between the Snake Eyes movie and the Charlie Kirk situation. Charles Kirkland is assassinated in the movie. Charlie Kirk is assassinated current. Tyler, the executioner, is used as a distraction in the movie. Tyler Robinson used as a distraction by being the false executioner. The movie takes place at Trump Hotel, current, during the Trump administration. The date is 9/10 on 9/10. The movie is involving Israeli arms dealers. The current is also involving is U.S.-Israeli relations. Both of them are shot in the exact same place in the neck. Exact same place in the neck, okay? Then we also had this little number from 13 years ago in the Erica Kirk music video where she is, she's playing a girl in a music video, and she's like, yay, I'm going to go zip lining, and internet sleuths are like, hang on, what's that right there? They just catch a 9/10 right there, just right in the middle of the video. Incredibly bizarre. And then I showed you guys also, I caught another 9/10 in the movie Snake Eyes, right? So that's like the baseline, right? Well, check this out, okay? How about this one? Okay. The guy's name is actually the Atlantic City executioner, okay? And this is it during the time when Trump owned all of Atlantic City, okay? Trump, like when this movie's happening, Trump owned Atlantic City. And it's the Atlantic City executioner. I can't, dude. Okay? Now let me show you something else. Just, again, more stuff that they sent me. Okay, so if you take the dichotomy between the conservative, movie that they're watching, or the conservative movie we're watching, the liberal movie that they're watching, it's like, who's the young version who was like a martyr of some kind? And it's like, you got Greta Thunberg on the left, you've got Kyle Rittenhouse on the right. They're basically the exact same age, very, very close at least. And those are the two sides of the movie. Check this out. Oh, hi, Kyle Rittenhouse, born January 3rd. Okay. January 3rd, 2003. See that? Okay. You guys see that? January 3rd, 2003. Greta Thunberg. January 3rd, 2003. What are the odds of that? Okay. And then check this out. Okay. So who are the two martyrs on the left and the right? Okay. Charlie Kirk, George Floyd, which is hilarious, by the way. Hilarious. Oh, your martyr is a multi-time felon who put a gun in the stomach of a pregnant woman and OD'd on fentanyl, and then we pretend he got it murdered. Okay, cool. And Charlie Kirk is a selfless Christian family man who was murdered by psychos. Okay, nonetheless, but watch this. Okay. Charlie Kirk, born October 14th. George Floyd, born October 14th. 20 years apart to the day. Now, another deep insight that I have is that you have not subscribed to my channel yet, and I don't like that. So if you would mind subscribing to my channel and then liking this video, if you are one of my current subscribers, or if you just like what I just showed you and you're really going to like what I show you in a second, that would be amazing. So yeah, I have no idea what to do with that. But now we're going to move over to what we were talking about here, okay? So here is what the public reporting about the shooter is, okay? Thomas Jacob Sanford, we've learned more since last night, okay? So here is what they're saying about him, okay? And then there's a big aha moment coming in this video, I promise, okay? So who is the attacker? He's a 40-year-old Thomas Jacob Sanford. He was from nearby Burton, Michigan, was a Marine veteran serving from 2004 to 2008, and I heard he was in Fallujah. Obviously, a lot of action there. He earned several awards and worked as an organizational automotive mechanic, vehicle recovery operator. Received a Good Conduct Medal. He was deployed to Iraq from October 2007 to March 2008, leaving the Marines with the rank of sergeant. He reportedly had a wife and son. In 2015, Sanford and his wife raised around $3,000 for their son, who was born with congenital hyperinsulinism. Not really sure what that is, but sounds rough. Family and friends told journalists that Sanford had PTSD, saying that he occasionally brought it up. Okay. And here's the thing. All of the people interviewed who knew him were like, this is impossible. They're like, no way that this guy did this. Like, there's no way that this guy would have done this, just like every other time. Okay. There's some kind of weird report that he went on some tirade about the Mormons, but it's super, like, not very well verified. It's just like one person saying, oh yeah, he went crazy about the Mormons. It's like, all right. And so when it says, like, what was the motive? Like, this is what I was saying yesterday. Like, what's the motive? Why would he do this? Right. And the best you got is, PTSD. So, you could always go, the guy's just crazy, right? That's an easy way to explain it, right? Or, and by the way, there actually was a report that he was talking really negatively about the Mormons. You're all, whoa, man, that is spooky, right? So let me take you on a little journey over here, okay? So before we get into what his story is, remember this guy? Okay, you guys remember this guy from the Charlie Kirk situation who right after the shooting happened, he stands up and takes his pants off and starts screaming, shoot me, or I did it, okay? Everybody thinks that this guy did it, to the point where I've ran a video on it because there were so many videos of the guy getting, like, hogtied and, not hogtied, but, handcuffed and taken out. Everyone's like, oh, okay, we got the shooter. It's some crazy old guy, right? Now, is that a normal thing to do, especially given the fact that this guy had been tied to a bomb threat at the Boston bombing? He was a witness to 9/11. He just somehow is always at... What is a guy who was at 9/11, the Boston bombing, also doing at the exact Charlie Kirk college campus tour where he ends up getting shot, okay? Right out of the gate, super suspicious. And then it's like, oh, and you're going to play a role in this thing? Like, you're going to play a big role in this thing? Well, what is it? He's like, well, I'm going to go completely crazy right after the shooting and make sure that the real shooter gets away. And you're like, okay, well, they're saying that the real shooter is some kid named Tyler Robinson, who's a 22-year-old trans radical activist. Okay, like, this doesn't seem like the kind of guy who has the connections to people who were involved in 9/11 and the Boston bombing to come and play a role, distracting for him. That seems very unlikely to us. You know what I mean? Now, is it possible that this guy got tied into, left-wing radical groups, and so he was there providing a distraction because he likes to sit in Discord with a bunch of little kids? Maybe, right? But then what did we find out about him the next day? What did we find out about this guy next day? Okay. We found out that he then, very shortly after, was arrested for child pornography, right? And what does that mean? Oh, he can't talk to anyone. He can't be interviewed, nothing. So it shuts him down for interviews, which, certainly indicates that maybe someone doesn't want him to be talked to. But it also indicates something else, which is that if he got wrapped up for child porn, it means that someone could have had tremendous leverage over him and made him do this, right? Okay, if you have, like, high-level people who have a history of potentially getting people to do things because they hold leverage over them, can you think of anybody? Then the fact that this guy has the child porn, I'm thinking less about the fact that you can't interview him and more about the fact of why he was there doing this, okay? Why was he there doing this, right? And there's actually this right here, okay? This is an episode of Black Mirror, okay? I don't know if you guys have seen this. Let me move this down. It's called Shut Up and Dance, okay? It's the third episode of the third season of Black Mirror. I would encourage you guys to go watch it, okay? Although I'm going to give you a big spoiler right now. So the whole movie, or the whole show, this kid right here, he's got a phone, and, like, there's someone on the phone making him go do all this crazy stuff, and you're like, oh my God, like, what? And it just makes it seem like this kid is so meek and scared that he keeps on doing what they're telling him to do, and you're like, why is he doing this? Why is he doing this? He's going around, it just gets worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. And then you find out at the end, the reason why he's doing what they're forcing him, or what they're telling him to do, is because they popped him for having child porn, and they were threatening to turn him in, right? And it's like, watch it. It's crazy. Like, just knowing that, it doesn't, like, fully ruin the, the episode. I mean, it kind of does, but it doesn't fully. I mean, like a lot of stuff happens. So go watch it. But that's the key secret, is that the people who were running him had popped him for child pornography and they were blackmailing him over the phone. And that's why he was doing all of this stuff. Okay. So, which brings us to our shooter yesterday. Okay. So we're going to go, why was he doing this? And then maybe why they wanted him to do this if someone was running him. Again, I have no idea if this is what's actually happening. This is my theory. Okay. So here you go. Okay. Let me make this a good size for you. So Jacob Thomas Sanford, Loveland, of Loveland, accused of possessing child porn. Okay, this is from 2013. Okay, 2013. Jacob Thomas Sanford of Loveland, accused of possessing child pornography. A Loveland man faces felony charges for allegedly possessing child pornography. Jacob Thomas Sanford, 27, was contacted at his Loveland home and arrested felony last week. Okay, so what do we know about this guy? He was 27 years old in 2013, which lines up exactly with the current Jacob Thomas Sanford, who for some reason jumped in his truck, put 2 American flags into it, and then rammed it into a church, lit it on fire, started shooting people, and then ran away and ultimately got killed. But maybe thought he was going to get away with it. You know what I mean? Like maybe someone was on the phone telling him to go do this, and then he thought he was going to get away with it. But, you know, they had other plans that led to him getting killed, because that was the actual goal of this thing all along. Okay? So now you have a connection between, I mean, listen, dude, I don't care what anybody says. I'm going to tell you right now, I don't care. I don't care if you're not a conspiracy theorist. I don't care if you're looking for reasons to believe the official story. It's weird that this guy had 2 American flags in his truck. That's not normal, dude. Okay? You don't throw 2 American flags sitting out the back to identify what political party you're in to go commit a violent act like this. That makes no sense. That does not make any sense. No one would do that, even if you're crazy. Okay? And the guy who was at the Charlie Kirk shooting, okay, no one goes to that who has this history of being at these things over and over and over. Okay? 9/11, Boston bombing, now the Charlie Kirk. You know, he just happens to be there, and he plays a role to take his pants down. I did it. Shoot me. Okay, that's not a thing that happens. Okay, that's not a thing that anyone does. No one does that. Okay, now why? Yeah, that is the question. Why? Okay, and before I give you the answer to that, I just want to show you this. Okay, this is not like the LDS church thing is not the only thing that happened this weekend. There were a bunch of attacks. Okay, listen to this.
Grim situation unfolding over the weekend. 4 separate mass shootings. Let me give you the top line for all 4, and then we can take a look at the most deadly one, which was a shooting at a Mormon church. So 4 dead and 8 wounded there. Perpetrator was also killed in gunfight with cops. You had 2 killed and 5 injured in a casino in Texas. You had 1 dead and others injured in a neighborhood in Pennsylvania. And you had a gunman who killed 3 people and injured 5 others at a packed North Carolina waterfront bar. That suspect has been taken into custody. So I'll give you some details.
Okay. So you have a bunch of things that happened this weekend where crazy people went out and shot a bunch of people, okay? So why would they do that? Like, why? What's the motivation? Why would someone send someone out to do that, right? So here's the thing, right? Let's just say that Candace, right? I already told you, I have no idea if what Candace is saying is true. That Tyler Robinson is a patsy or whatever. But she puts this out on Friday, okay? Right? Let's watch that again.
Okay, I didn't want to leave you guys on a crazy weekend cliffhanger. I needed to get that information out as soon as possible. Obviously, you can probably see that I received some information, a communication, which answered a lot of questions that the public has had about the story, or rather the non-story that we are getting from the feds. The push that Tyler Robinson is this lone shooter, which they're trying to establish as a fact. Some of the burning questions that we had, okay, well, if he turned himself in, how did he also not confess? I now have the answers to that. The main point, the reason why this information came to me, is because there's a narrative being spun right now by the media that Tyler Robinson is or was suicidal. That is not true. And that's a very scary thing when suddenly they're saying he's suicidal and, you know, he's in solitary. And he's not suicidal. So that was the reason why this information urgently came to me. Obviously, I know a lot more, and I'm going to share it with you guys on Monday. I just wanted to vet some of the things that I heard, ask some more questions from people that would know, and just to make sure everything I say is above board. And obviously, this lead led to more leads, and I want to give people a chance to respond. This is crazy. Nothing more that I can say. This is very serious. I don't know what's going on, but I do know that what we are being told has gone on is just not so. And yeah, this is really kind of going to begin, I think, to answer a lot of questions. And
So you guys get the point, right? Big announcement coming Monday. Maybe we need a big distraction from whatever she's going to say, like a real big one. And I just got an email that we are going to check together right now, okay? So my source on this that sent this to me told me that just right now, this moment, okay, there is, I scoured the internet for another source on this, okay? And this is the only one left that's talking about this guy having had a history of being a PDF file and a criminal background here. He says that as of just now, literally just sent this. He's like, this, they put this behind the paywall. Like, I already had it up. And he said, right now, they just put it behind the paywall. I'm going to refresh this and let's find out. Okay. All right. It's still coming up. Let me actually exit out of it and let me go back. I'm going to go back to my email and get into it again. Because if that is true, I am going to trip out, dude. Oh my God, they really did. Oh my God. Okay, you know what though? Okay, this one I can explain. Maybe, okay? Like Loveland Reporter Herald, this looks shady at first glance. I think this is actually the Reporter Herald recognizing that they have a massive spike in traffic for this page and they're like, "Oh my God, we might be able to go get some business." And then they went and put it behind the paywall. I think that's probably what this is, okay? I'm not going to totally freak out. Okay, that's probably what it is they saw this huge spike because this is ripping around the internet right now. I'm just trying to rush and get it up first, but like, damn. Okay, anyway, so yeah, there you go. Big distraction maybe. Shut Up and Dance, Black Mirror in real life. Okay, that's what I got. Love you guys.